So yesterday, the leader of Time's Up, the Me Too era organization founded by Hollywood women to fight sexual harassment, well, she resigned. Roberta Kaplan stepped down as chair of the group's board of directors. Her resignation follows revelations that she helped advise Governor Cuomo's office in an effort to discredit at least one of his accusers. So CBS News culture and gender contributor Jodi Kantor is here to discuss. She's also a Pulitzer Prize-winning investigative reporter for the New York Times. Jodi, thank you so much for joining us this morning. So, what do you make of Governor Cuomo's refusal to step down as he faces, a possible impeachment and criminal charges?
Well, what we see now is that he's buying time, but what that time is also creating is time for people to read this report really deeply and essentially for more information to come out. And I think what's going on with Time's Up is an example of that. Here's the story in short. Time's Up is a really important organization that was created in the wake of the Weinstein revelations to try to fight exactly the kind of behavior chronicled in the report. In order to do that, they formed really powerful political allies. One of their biggest allies was Governor Cuomo. What we now know, thanks to the report and thanks to the women who have come forward to tell their stories, is that even as Andrew Cuomo as governor was championing Me Too, this was in the middle of the reckoning period. This is while everybody, including him, were talking about, the rules are changing, we're going to turn the page, we're going to do things differently. It turns out that behind closed doors, he was racking up the same kinds of allegations. So Time's Up was working closely with him. Nobody blames them for working with him on legislation. He was the governor. They got important measures passed thanks to his help. However, as the allegations began to come out, the leaders of Time's Up got essentially too involved in advising his team in what now is looking like a smear campaign against one of the women. So let's just be clear that the sort of number one person facing charges of hypocritical behavior, of saying one thing and doing another, is Governor Andrew Cuomo. He's really the one in the hot seat. But as this thing kind of expands to concentric circles, Time's Up is coming under scrutiny, and people are saying, what was this organization doing trying to help the governor?
What is the feeling? Is the feeling that Time's Up sort of betrayed its own kind of purpose, or that perhaps the governor used the organization?
I think there are questions about both. And the organization was trying to be influential, and it was, trying to place itself in the center of the conversation. But now obviously it's gotten uncomfortable to the point where Roberta Kaplan, who's sort of this crusading progressive lawyer, she's a hero to some people, she helped get gay marriage in place, she actually had to leave the organization that she helped co-found, in part because people felt like her conflicts were just too great. Her law firm represents Melissa DeRosa, the former Cuomo aide, who is accused of leading the smear campaign against one of the women. So people essentially said to Kaplan, how can your firm represent this woman, and you've counseled her on this matter, and yet you're also sort of fighting for the victims on behalf of Time's Up? It doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense.
So I just want to read a little bit of what Time's Up had to say. They put out a statement saying, quote, "We hold ourselves accountable. The events of the last week have made it clear that our process should be evaluated, and we intend to do just that." Do you anticipate that this will be a mild bump in the road for the organization, or is this sort of a moment of reckoning? They talked about sort of taking a look at their processes, but is it a little more than that?
I don't think we know yet, and I think they're probably trying to work that out themselves. But I think that it also raises the question of who's ultimately responsible for addressing this behavior. Because one thing that we're seeing happen in the last couple of days is, look, Melissa DeRosa, this top aide, resigned. Robbie Kaplan, one of the co-founders of Time's Up, is out of the organization. And people are asking, why are the women out while Governor Cuomo, who's actually accused of doing this stuff, still in office?
Yeah, I think I'm sort of wrestling with this because I recognize that the behavior that is alleged against the governor partially has occurred because people around him supported him. But he also made it a point of hiring very smart, driven women. And so inevitably, if they are in his circle, they run the risk of supporting that behavior too. You had said that everything's changed and nothing has changed in regards to the Me Too movement. You said it, I think, in Vanity Fair in 2019. I suppose a little bit this is what you're talking about, because though there are individuals who are guilty of behavior, it's also the structure, it's also the system, and sometimes even women find themselves folded into this structure and system.
And it's so recent, despite what the governor said, this is not stuff that the allegations we're talking about are not things that happened 10, 20 years ago where we all say, well, it was a different world, standards were different, the behavior was wrong, but people may not have known it at the time, et cetera, et cetera. Remember that he is allegedly committing these offenses against the backdrop of everybody talking about this, right? I mean, this was only a few years ago. We remember this time when we were all engaged in this reckoning. Every office was embroiled in this. CBS News was embroiled with this. This was a searching conversation that entered into all of our lives. So I think the very tough and provocative question posed by this story is, how could New York's leader, amidst all of this conversation, while actually signing important sexual harassment laws into place, allegedly be doing this stuff? And what does that mean for the question you raised about what the path of progress is?
Yeah, Jodi Kantor, thank you so much. It's an ongoing conversation for sure. Thank you.
Exactly. Thank you.